What's up, guys? It is Corbin Stuckey of Pixel Talk here. I'm joined by my friend Liam.
Hello.
Say hello. Oh, you already did.
Yeah.
I usually have to remind people to say hello.
No,
but you did.
Yeah.
You beat me to it. So.
Yeah, I don't have a problem saying hello.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And tonight, we're actually doing a special video. We're not doing a review. We're not doing a trailer reaction. We're not really doing just, like, anything of that nature. We are doing something that is kind of just essentially reviewing, but it's reviewing parts of our childhood. And I thought it'd just be like a really nice segment to do, just to talk about some of the things that we experienced in our childhoods in terms of video gaming. And Super Mario Odyssey, Liam, is coming out this Friday.
Ooh.
I am very excited about that. And we just decided that we were going to do a video on Mario and how many Mario games that we've played and how Mario has really affected our childhoods in terms of gaming and what Mario games that we've specifically played on the Game Boy, N64, GameCube, Wii, other classic retro gaming consoles. So yeah, pretty much. Liam, what Mario games have you played, and how did you kind of get introduced to specifically Nintendo's Mario?
So I remember it was probably 2004 Christmas.
Okay.
My family, I had two older brothers, so there's three of us. So I got all the hand-me-down consoles.
Okay.
So I got my older brother's GameCube, and it came with Luigi's Mansion because that came with the GameCube at the time.
Right.
And then at the time, Mario Sunshine was out, and we also got that year we got Smash Bros. Melee.
Okay. Yeah.
So 3 all-new Mario titles, all at once.
Pretty much just the essentials of what you got with that GameCube were mainly Mario games.
Yes.
Okay.
But there were other games too, one off the top of my head was Crash Tag Team Racing. That's just another one that I played a lot. But I did play a lot of Mario, even though I wasn't good at it.
Right.
At the time.
Mario games, especially the 3D ones, you could play them as a kid, and they were very colorful and they were very inviting. They looked like kids' games. They were catered to families and having a family time when playing these games, but they were incredibly hard.
Yes,
they were.
It's the launch title, Luigi's Mansion, was, if you didn't pay attention, you didn't listen to it, it was stupid difficult.
Got a copy. Yeah, it's really difficult. I remember we were playing it at here at this apartment. Yeah. And I was having a hard time with it. I did not play Luigi's Mansion a whole lot as a kid. I rented it from the video store, and I think I had to return it. This was when I was 8. My mom was returning stuff.
Back when Blockbuster was a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I actually didn't know this. Luigi's Mansion was the first essential, pretty much Mario game for the GameCube. I thought it actually came out after Sunshine. Pretty much how I got introduced to Mario. I had a Game Boy Color, and a lot of the games that I played at the time were monitored by my parents. My parents wanted to make sure that I was not playing anything violent. So a large majority of the games that I were playing were based on movies and shows that I was watching as a kid. Game Boy Color was Rugrats Go to Paris. That should give you an understanding of the kind of games I was playing as a kid at the age of 6. Then I started playing Buzz Lightyear, the animated series, on my Game Boy Color.
I played a ton of Buzz Lightyear.
Are you
on
serious?
Game Boy.
Oh my god.
The one where it's the shooter, and you have to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 2D game.
And there's different planets you could go to. Yeah. And you have to it was a bullet hell game.
Yeah, that's the one that I was playing. And Christmas came by. My grandmother was totally aware that I had a Game Boy Color, and she got me Super Mario Brothers, the original one from the 80s. And that was kind of essentially my first experience with Mario. Was the main Mario game that came out in the 80s. Now, Donkey Kong is obviously the first Mario game there, but in terms of just the Super Mario game where you grow and get a star, it was the first Mario game that I played that was my first experience, which I think that's really cool, because not a lot of kids get to say that. A lot of kids would say oh, my first experience was with the N64 or GameCube, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just the first game that you got. And I did progress to actually playing some of the 3D Mario games. I remember I was in a dentist's office, and when you go into a dentist's office, they want to cater to the kids.
But they've got magazines and stuff.
Yeah, they've got magazines for the adults, but My dentist's office actually had a little room that had an N64. Ooh. I had an N64, but my dad basically got like retro games for it, like Pac-Man, Galaga, Joust. But this N64 at the dentist's office had Super Mario 64. Ooh. And that was kind of like my first interaction with Super Mario 64. And I think that's just kind of like the perfect game to present to a kid who is like maybe nervous at the dentist's office. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, it's so inviting and it's like so relaxing, it's colorful, it's a fun family children's game. Yeah. I actually had the pleasure of playing it again on the Wii. I bought it from the App Store on the Wii, and I've been playing it for like 3 weeks. The controls are very, what's the word I'm looking for? The controls are very dated, but at the time, it's like this was the first time that they were dealing with 3D content for games. They were trying to one-up PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't tank controls.
Oh, yeah. It was inverted, and Super Mario Sunshine was inverted as well, but for the most part, for what this game was, when it first came out, this changed the entire industry. This was a game where people were like, okay, Nintendo is like the main gaming competition of the world. Mm-hmm. They created I can only imagine what like Nintendo was going through. They almost didn't really utilize 3D technology. They had to because of the PlayStation. But I can only imagine like something so simplistic as like going from a 2D side scroller and making a really 3D competent game, because that's what Mario's been known for like many years now. It's a 2D game. Super Mario 2, we don't really talk about that much. That really wasn't even supposed to be a Mario game when it came out. Super Mario 3, awesome. You get to fly in that game. Super Mario World, you know, that was for the SNES, and the graphics are much better. But then they were upping up the graphics so much with Super Mario 64, and I think that was the game changer of Mario, like, definitely.
It's like you couldn't compete with the consoles at the time doing another side-scroller, so they're like, what are we going to do? Next console, it's going to be 3D.
Oh, yeah.
How are we going to do 3D?
Yeah, they basically, like, and Mario wasn't the only one that they were doing that with. They obviously did that with, like, The Legend of Zelda, with Ocarina of Time, and it was just, like, Nintendo wasn't the first to use 3D technology, but they were definitely the ones that were using their own property to kind of get fans into, like, hey, listen, this is our new Mario game. If you want to play it, you have to get used to, like, this new technology. And I think for the most part, people were really satisfied with it. And then after the N64, the GameCube came out, and
the Nintendo Dolphin.
Yeah. So basically, there are a lot of games where, for the GameCube, that are dolphin-oriented, especially Super Mario Sunshine, because the island is shaped like a dolphin. If you go into one of the chips in the GameCube, it's got a dolphin emblem.
Yeah, it's like the dolphin processor. Like,
yeah,
I'm not 100% certain on that.
I'm not entirely sure why the dolphin was such a huge emblem for the GameCube. One could say that maybe it was like, okay, we're really tuning up water in our games. And that's very true, actually. Sunshine had a lot of water elements. Let's talk about Sunshine real quick. What are your thoughts on Super Mario Sunshine?
Well, I like Sunshine. It was in direct contrast to Luigi's Mansion because there was a medium, like, outcry of, like, not hatred, but, like, the first Nintendo title is a Luigi title, and people were like, what is this?
Yeah.
And Luigi's Mansion was dark and spooky, and
yeah.
In stark contrast was Super Mario Sunshine, which was bright and fun and had all these fun colors with, like, the goopy people, the goopy monster.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely, like, a more of a focus on pumps in these games and, like, weaponry. Like Luigi, you have the vacuum cleaner that originates from Ghostbusters, and then we have the water pump in Super Mario Sunshine. I don't know exactly why they were doing that. I guess they just wanted to bring something new to their games, which is commendable.
They wanted to bring a new element to the game in order to keep it fresh.
Right.
And what they did with Mario Sunshine, rather than what they did with Luigi's Mansion, is in certain levels, the Shadow Mario levels, they took it away.
They took it away,
and they brought it back to a retro feel where you were just like wall jumping and like
pretty much like parkour and sandbox, pretty much. Sunshine, I think, is definitely, when I think of the GameCube and the mini games that are on it, I personally think that Sunshine is the best GameCube game ever made. I might be causing some controversy with some like hardcore Nintendo fans, but I have some memory. Like, this is what this video is about. We're sharing our memories with games. I remember, like, I was watching Toonami as a kid, and Tom does a lot of game reviews. Like, whenever you're watching anime and goes to commercials, he talks about a lot of games.
Hey, welcome back.
Let's talk about this game.
What about Super Mario Sunshine?
Exactly.
My favorite old school video game character is back, my main man Mario. You know I had to check out his newest adventure, Super Mario Sunshine. It's a GameCube game, of course. The big question is, how does it stack up to the last 3D Mario adventure, Mario 64? Let's get down to brass tacks. Toonami gives Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube a 10 out of 10. Nice work, Mr. Mario.
I was like, that looks super awesome. I don't have a GameCube though. The following Christmas, I believe I like watched that like probably like I was in like probably kindergarten or first grade. I watched that, and then the following Christmas, after I had just watched like a Toonami like promotion for like Super Mario Sunshine, I got a GameCube. I was like, oh my god. Like, oh my god, a GameCube. Let's look at this other present. You don't think opens up present. It's Super Mario Sunshine, pretty much. And I freaking love that game. I have also been playing that for the past couple of weeks because I wanted to revisit my memories with these games. And it holds up. It holds up so well. It's so colorful. It is definitely like an improvement on the N64 Mario game.
Of course. Like, it's so much, like, if you look just at Mario's face, it's like N64. You could cut bread with his nose.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, it was more defined, and there was definitely
a lot processing power.
Oh yeah, and there was definitely a lot more usage of color and somewhat of cinematography, where the lighting was just better. And you kind of need lighting in your Mario games because of the usage of stars, pretty much. In each Mario game, the 3D Mario games at least, involve you collecting stars and going to the next level. Like, you had to open certain doors, like collecting these stars. And one of the things I really appreciated about the 3D Mario games was you didn't have to like do certain things like in a row. You could go back and forth and collect stars however you wish. You didn't have to do everything in a sequence. You could just do a couple missions and kind of maybe back out of the certain mission that you just weren't maybe good at, and then do other missions. You didn't have to necessarily do the mission that like was presented to you. So that was something I really appreciated about the 3D Mario games. Was it was very flexible. It was a very flexible experience.
Back on the topic of lighting, in Super Mario Sunshine, when you start out on Isle Delfino, it's completely dark.
Yeah.
And you have to collect the shine sprites, which are equivalent to the stars. And each one that you collect, more sunshine goes across the island.
I've noticed that too. I also liked... The reason why I like the 3D Mario games as well is because the 2D Mario games have also been very simplistic as well. Bowser kidnaps the princess, and you have to go and save the princess. It's pretty much a repeating factor throughout these games, but with the 3D Mario games, it actually tries to add somewhat of a story to them. If you guys have played Sunshine and you find out the identity of the Shadow Mario, it's like, okay, so they're actually trying to make a universe through this franchise.
It's kind of like a... Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more than just like saving a princess. It's actually just trying to bring forth new characters that are maybe even related to some characters. And I've noticed this a lot with the GameCube. The GameCube, I believe, was actually the best time for Mario. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of, like early GameCube, like, when it was, like, Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Smash Bros. Like, it was, like, the best time for Nintendo.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, like, later when they got into, like, they did, like, a bunch of spin-offs. And they always did spin-offs.
Yeah.
Because it's like you need to keep like revenue flow.
Yeah.
In order to like, we need to pump out a new game in order to get money for the big project. So it's like side project, money, big project.
Like we said, they started out with Luigi's Mansion, which I thought was a great game. Maybe it shouldn't have been like the starting game for the GameCube, but looking at it just now as a standalone game, it's great. Super Mario Sunshine finally came along. It's a great game. It was pretty obvious that they were also trying to utilize some of the characters in the Mario universe. There was even a Wario game at some point, Wario World, where it was Wario, and it was very...
That was money-oriented. I remember playing that at my friend John's house.
Yeah, and there was some combat as well. Wario was actually punching people.
Yeah, he, like, punches people, and then he was like, wah, wah, and then he, like, stomach bump people.
All that Mario really does is just, like, hops on Goombas, and they, like, you know, explode. Whereas
punches in,
He does punch, but it's like a... It's almost like he's flapping his arms, whereas Wario, there's actually, like, combat in there. Exactly. I don't know... Let's actually... talk about the Wii now at this point, because I feel like now that we're talking about Wario World, I should talk about what exactly the Wii did in terms of Mario and let's call him his family. Super Mario Galaxy.
Ooh.
I played that today actually before I came over here. I think Mario Galaxy is a really nice game. I think it's very colorful. The graphics are definitely better. But that game, it's so hard to look at because of like the planets and everything. It's hard to figure out like where you're going. Like I'm trying to find the right wording here. It's disorienting. It's so disorienting because like you're on a very small planet and you could be looking at like Mario from like an aerial point of view. And it was just very confusing to look at sometimes. It was very creative because you got to hop from planet to planet, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. I actually really like the game, and I think it's very creative. This game won like best Wii game of I think it was like 2007 or 8. But I remembered at the time as a kid, it was very hard to look at, and even as an adult now, who, you know, as we grow up, we gain a little bit more intelligence and we're able to beat those childhood games that we weren't able to beat. It's still very irritating to look at.
I played a ton of Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I was the kid who would, like, come home, like, do my homework, do my chores, and then I'd play.
You were a fan of Mario Galaxy.
Oh, I love Mario Galaxy. Like, I wanted to 100% complete it. That's, I think, when I started, like, really going for, like, I want to get everything done in this game.
Yeah.
I want to find Luigi. I want all the stars. I want all the upgrades. All of the comets. I want all of them done. And then after I started there and I actually did get all 120 stars for that game, I went back and I got all the stars for Super Mario Sunshine. I did N64.
Yeah. N64 is actually hard.
Yes.
Like
I didn't actually do it on the N64. I did it on the
DS.
The DS version.
Yes. Okay. So the DS was actually where I played most of the N64 at, because I remember there being like a hurricane at the time. I think it was like 2006 or 2007. Me and my family, we left town and we were staying at like a hotel or something, a retreat. And then I remember they were selling the Nintendo DS, and I was like, "Mom, this will give me something to do because the TVs are out." And they're like, "Okay, fine." So yeah, I played most of the Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo DS. It was a fun game.
I like the introduction of the hats. I don't know if you remember that. If you collected enough stars, I think it was, you could wear Wario's hat, or you could wear Luigi's hat.
Where you became the characters.
Yeah, you got to change from Mario.
Yeah, I do remember that. Was that in the original game? I don't think so. No, in the original game, you could actually like become like Metal Mario.
Yep.
You could have a hat that had wings.
Yep.
Which you essentially kind of need that.
You do.
You really do, or else you're not going to be able to like get all the stars that you want.
Especially with like the red coin challenges on like even in like World 1.
Yeah.
Like the Goomba one, I forget the name. Like in order to get the last or one of like the challenges, I think it's the 8 red coins, you actually need to like hop from island to island with the hat.
Yeah.
And collect them.
Yeah, you have to get in a cannon and it shoots you, and even for this game, for when it came out in 1996, and with the inverted controls and the like, I don't know, the very hard controls. They still didn't know what they were doing at the time, so they were like, okay, let's add this like flying hat so they can actually steer the character and they just don't have to just shoot him from a cannon. So I really appreciated that. Going back to the Wii, like we were talking about, like with Super Mario Galaxy, I think it was a very innovative game. It's like, okay, what can we do now that we haven't done? Sunshine was such a huge hit, and I commend them for that. And even though sometimes the game was kind of irritable to look at in terms of like just walking around this planet, and some people might have been like, not me, but like nauseous at that point. It's a hard game to like, especially with like in terms of gravity.
It's like I remember one specific level you have to like jump on like a springboard.
Yeah.
And then you like flip and just kind of like, huh.
Yeah. It's really, some levels are so gravity based, and since the planets are so small, you're going back and forth, and like that kind of round motion can really make you kind of queasy sometimes, but you know, it's doable. I was talking about Wario World because we haven't really seen a major Wario game in a while, and
since WarioWare.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with.
That was DS.
Yeah, and that was also for the Wii too. Was they made? I think they've done something for the Wii U as well, but Wario turned into something where it was more of a mini game thing. WarioWare, and I think even though the Wii. What are your opinions about the Wii? Because I think that the Wii, like in terms of motion controls, was fine, but it utilized the motion controls a lot, like maybe to an extent where it was way too much.
I think it was a nice, like with Mario Galaxy, it was a nice segue for people because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we know how to play Mario. We've played the GameCube. Now we have new controls, and I can point and shoot and grab things. I'm kind of getting into this, and then they came out with the second one, and people were like, I played the first one, I know how to do all this, and then the second one was even better because it's like, I have experience with the Wii, I have experience with Mario Galaxy, it's new, there's more levels, same.
Yeah, no, totally. I actually have not played Super Mario Galaxy 2. Did you play it? You did?
I played it and I beat it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. What are the, because since I haven't played it, what are the key differences between Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2?
So, the first one is more like an introduction, I would say. And the second one is more of like imaginative, because that's when they got more power-ups. They brought in Yoshi.
Okay.
But they also gave Yoshi like some, I would say, power-ups. He ate like different fruit, like if he ate like the spicy pepper, he would run really fast, but he could like run up walls and he could like zip around and everything. But then there was this other one, I don't remember what it looked like, but it turned him big and blue, and he just like would just blow air out his mouth, and he turned into a big balloon, and you could like float him around.
Yeah, okay, alright.
But then they introduced like Stone Mario, where you could, you got the Stone Mario like mushroom, and then you could like turn into a giant ball or like a stone, like Golem.
Okay.
From Pokemon.
One of the things I really appreciated about like Super Mario Galaxy, even though I'm saying that like sometimes it's hard to look at, one of the things I do appreciate about it that 64 didn't do, that I'm pretty sure Sunshine didn't really do either, it was more utilized for the water cannon, was Galaxy actually added the power-ups to Mario, like the fire powers and the ice powers. You actually could do that in Super Mario Galaxy, which I always wondered as a kid, like, why am I able to do these certain power-ups into 2D games when I'm not able to in a 3D, like, Mario games? And they actually did that for Galaxy, which is something I really appreciated. And I'm sure they, like you were just talking about, they brought that into Galaxy 2 as well, where you could turn into Stone Mario.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, I just, like, the Wii itself, I wouldn't really say the Wii is a failure. I think the Wii was more of just like, okay,
a stepping stone.
A stepping stone. Let's try this and see how it works.
It's what got them to where they are now. It's like, we made the Wii, then the Wii U, but now we got the Switch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the Wii U real quick. Because have you played, like, did you own a Wii U?
My brother did.
Okay. I have personally not owned a Wii U. I don't know why. That sounds really odd to me. I think when the Wii U came out, I think that was just a time where I was getting more focused on mature games. I was playing Halo on the Xbox. I was playing Uncharted on the PS4. I think that was just a time where I was just getting more prone to mature gaming and shooters, especially. And I think I just lost focus on Nintendo. I like the idea of the Wii U where you could actually play it on the pad. Like if your family members wanted to watch TV, you could play it on the pad. Absolutely like that. And I will admit to an extent, when I went over to a friend's house and they had Smash Brothers, I was playing it a lot. I think Smash Brothers is really good on the Wii. Sorry, not Wii. Wii U. And I'm actually very surprised that the Switch doesn't have it yet. They're most likely for sure going to get it later on. But I played, whenever I went to GameStop, I played Super Mario 3D World. What are your thoughts on 3D World?
3D World was good. It was not more of the same, because it was like a different, it had like a different feel. It had like the world aspects of like original Mario.
Yeah.
But the whimsicalness, the whimsical nature of like Galaxy.
Yeah.
So it was graphics and whimsicalness of Galaxy with the campaign and progress of the original Mario, and I feel like they blended well together.
Yeah, I kind of compare 3D Land on the 3DS and 3D World very similarly. That's, you know, pretty much 3D World is a kind of a sequel. I think for me, like, I obviously really enjoyed 3D Land. I think it's, like, when you think of the 3DS, I think it is one of the best games out there. I just don't think there's much of a story. I think it is pretty much, like, that going back to that Mario basics, where it's just him trying to save the princess. And even gameplay as well, where you go to, like, certain points on a map, you click on it, and you, like, play. It's essentially like a 2D Mario game, but it's 3D, essentially. The layout, especially. I'm talking about the layout. And that's fine. But what I really appreciated about Super Mario Sunshine and even Galaxy was that the environment and the story and the characters that they added on. Whereas in these 3D games, I feel like, I don't want to say that they're gimmicks really, but I felt like they were just like games that they added to the 3DS and the Wii U to state, okay, we've made 3D Mario games. But it's not, they don't hold up like Super Mario Sunshine does. They were just like, okay, let's just make a 3D Mario game and call it 3D World. It's like, why would you call it 3D World if you already have these 3D Mario games? In terms of the other Mario games, I think they lack in story and doing something different. I think 3D Land, what really kind of like made it stand out was bringing back Tanuki Mario. I think that's the only thing that really made it like just stand out. In terms of story and everything else, it was pretty basic, and the environment itself it's pretty much just blocks if you think about it. It's just blocks like spinning around, and there wasn't anything after Galaxy. I think Odyssey is that first game that is coming out in years where it's like, okay, Mario's in an environment, and I'm very excited to be playing that. What other thoughts did we touch on anything else, like, or have? Did we not touch on anything else?
They did like Super Mario Strikers. That was a soccer-based one. That's the one. Well, we had both.
Yeah.
And like, I played Super Mario Strikers, and it was a fun game.
Let me see. I like the cover art. That's like a pretty sweet. That's what I noticed about like. I think I rented this from like my local video store, and it was pretty fun actually.
It's fun if you have like if you're playing like against like your brother or like your friend. They came over. You're like, hey, we can play a Mario game together.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm gonna play Super Mario Sunshine and you can watch.
Oh my god, yeah. It like that is something that I really appreciated too, was how branched Mario was. It wasn't just about him. It wasn't just about him. Like we've been talking about, like there was Mario games and there was a Luigi game, there was a Wario game. This was essentially a franchise.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then they had Donkey Kong Country way back during the N64.
Oh yeah.
So they had branched out even back then, and then
this was like obviously Mario is a franchise, but it's kind of a mega franchise. But yeah, pretty much that's our childhoods in terms of Mario. As you can see, we've played a lot of Mario games. Very excited for Odyssey. I can't wait. I'll probably be doing a live stream of it Thursday night. I'm gonna try and get the game Thursday night. Do you want to come over Thursday night and just check it out, or are you busy?
I gotta check your schedule.
Okay, yeah, definitely check your schedule. And yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts on our childhood of Mario games. Comment down below what Mario games that you have played in the past as a child. Let us know what you thought of our thoughts on specific games like Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario 3D Land. Obviously, I had some thoughts on some of those games. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, gaming content, pop culture stuff, and so on. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbett Stuckey.
I'm Liam McManus.
And this is Pixel Talk.
I could hear your talking. I was like, no.